Yeah. Welcome to another episode of Unashamed, Unafraid. This is another story episode. And with us, me and Chris, we're here with Duncan and Gina Peterson, authors of the book Lower the Bar. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah, and tell me more about that. I don't know that I saw Gina's name on the front, but she did help write this book, correct?
Yes, she did.
Very quietly.
I added some commentary.
Okay.
And in my perspective.
I designed the cover before the idea to bring her into the book.
It's mostly Duncan's story.
Mm-hmm.
Which is part of your story.
It is, yes.
Right?
It became part of my story.
Yeah.
And so, I can't remember if you invited me to add. You probably just asked if I wanted to, or anyway.
Yeah.
Because I thought, well, that's your project. You know, I'm supportive of him writing this book to tell his story, and.
Well, and that's part of the problem, though. I've done so many things, I'll say, on my own. Right? I wanted Gina to be included. Like, I wanted her buy-in.
Yeah.
We're gonna invest so much time and money into this endeavor. This is no longer just me or me and staff. This is me and Gina doing this. So
Gina,
I wanted you in.
Gina, what did that mean to you to be able to be included in a piece of that?
It meant a lot. It was, once I started writing, I realized that it was our story, and it affected me. It made me think a little bit more about my own thoughts, my own perspective, my own experience, being married to to Duncan, and how it's been for me, and it was a good experience for me.
So Duncan, where does your story start, man?
Well, it starts when I was on this big boy toy, I call it. I was 12 years old, approximately, and my parents were. It's in the book. Oh, I can only say that one more time.
Yep.
Okay. Is that my parents were building a house. I grew up in Maine, and
my wife wants to go there so bad. I need to take her.
Yes.
Yes, you
do. We have some connections to Maine.
She wants to go to this lobster house that's there.
All right. We can give you some guidance.
Sweet.
And I was up there, pretending like I was driving this big Tonka truck. And I looked to the side, and down in between the seat and the side of the cab, there was what I would discover was a pornographic magazine, and that was kind of the beginning of the story. Yeah.
What was the pain or the experiences that you had in your life that kind of created the conditions that made it possible for you to really take off in that realm? Because, normally when people are feeling, they have the resources they need and the help they need in a family setting, they can go get the help they need, and they have people to talk to. I'd imagine it wasn't that way for you.
Well, I was raised in a good family. We both were. Our parents, were active members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Married, they're the only spouse they've ever had, kind of thing. I'm the second of three kids. I have an older brother, who was kind of the one who pushed the boundaries on things, and I was, I'll say, the straight arrow more kind of guy. Plus, and then I have a younger sister, but she's like 6 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So there was quite a gap in there, and I studied music from the time I was 10. I started the trumpet. In 11, I started the piano. And I'm classically trained, which means you learn the position of the notes on the page and the position of the notes on the keyboard. And this has all come to me like over the past number of years. And if you play it right, then you're good. If you play it wrong, then it's a mistake and you're bad.
And everybody knows.
And everybody knows. Yeah, so there's this literal black and white. The keys are the keys are black and white.
That's a good analogy.
And so my life was black and white from age 11 forward. And it was shortly after that or around that time that I found pornography. And so right and wrong, black and white, it all tied in.
So tell us about how addiction formed and progressed from the moment that you were in the Tonka truck.
The Tonka truck, so led to, experimenting with, touching myself and how that felt. What I came to know, what I came to realize had a name to it was masturbation.
Yeah.
And that was very exciting and thrilling on one hand, but on the other hand, it was like, okay, well, there's this rush, but then there's this embarrassment. I hope no one, knows what I just did. Hope no one finds out. And the bathroom, the house my parents built was a big house. It was like 6,000 square feet, custom house up on a hill. And they will tell you to this day that it was their least favorite house of all of them. They moved around a bit, built, remodeled, different things. And it was really tough. That dichotomy of the excitement, but managing the confusion of the guilt as well. Yeah.
And if I could just add, I mean, your parents were very traditional, straight-laced kind of. It wasn't like you probably didn't feel comfortable talking to them about it, and so that hindered you in getting, understanding it and getting through it. And so
did you not feel safe enough to go and be like, hey, I found this magazine and this is what I'm looking at? And
No, I didn't. My dad was a psychologist in private practice at the time. So he was meeting with clients and my mom was transcribing the dictations and things. This is back in the, 80s. Because I'm 40, I just turned 49 a couple weeks ago. And my mom, they were both born and raised in Maine, but my mom is like a traditional Northeastern woman. She's a convert to the church, and not particularly like the warm, fuzzy type, just makes you want to open up to her. Very loving.
but certain things you didn't talk about.
Certain things we didn't talk about sex, we didn't talk about money, we didn't talk about politics. Those were, especially at the dinner table, I mean, that's just kind of how we grew up. And so it was not easy or maybe even possible to have a good, deep conversation about what I was feeling, what I found. And I'm a very feeling, very talkative guy. We have found out together that I'm an external processor. We learned this all in the past three years. And Gina is more of an internal
we knew
processor.
That already, but never really gave it a name, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So you see this magazine.
Yeah.
And then, like, obviously it is, the curiosity's there, so like, did you take the magazine with you and hide it, or did you
I don't
keep
remember
coming back
taking
to
the
it?
magazine. I think I probably went back to it a time or two in my recollection.
So then when did the addiction like go for you? You're like, man, I'm in this thing and it is like taking off.
Well, and that's where, so, you know, I'm 11, 12, 13. I don't have my license yet. We have a camp at a lake about 30 minutes from my house. And I would often take my bike up to the camp, which we'd go to all the time in the summertime. We had a boat and we'd ski and we've been there a number of times as a family. And so on the way, I went through a town where there was a shopping mall, and think back in the 80s, and you know, there's a magazine section, and top rack is Playboy, Penthouse, Maxim. This is what
we didn't have that here in Utah.
No.
No.
Serious?
Oh, never.
Did you grow up in Utah?
Yeah, I grew up in Utah. That was never on display ever.
Really?
Yeah, you're ordering that online. I guess it wasn't really online. You were ordering that through phone or
mail.
whatever, through the mail. Yeah, it's like,
You couldn't buy them in the grocery store.
yeah, or like in airports. Or there would be like certain video stores or something like that. Like downtown, there would be something like that.
Really?
Yeah. So that none of that stuff was ever available.
See, I grew up
from any.
I didn't grow up here. I grew up there.
I'm 48. I just turned 48 yesterday. So
Congratulations,
like,
sir.
I'm almost the same age as you.
We're
right?
1 year apart.
And like, yeah, that wasn't the case ever here.
Yes. Wow.
I did not know that.
I had no idea. That's why I'm like
I
stunned.
didn't grow up in Utah either.
Yeah.
So, and I would notice those magazines in the
You would?
magazine section.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Growing up, yeah.
Yeah, they were on like the top couple shelves. So I'd strategically pull one down, put it in the middle of a motocross magazine so no one would see. I'd keep the cover like this where they could see and look at the inserts. And that's how I got my guilty pleasure. And I continue my ride up to the lake, and that's kind of how things developed.
Duncan, how do you recall feeling about yourself in relation to the magazine viewing and the masturbation as a kid?
Oh man.
Like, what was the inner dialogue like?
Like, happy on the outside, miserable on the inside. Miserable might be a little strong. I mean, I had a good life, and I was active in the church, and did well in school, especially socially and musically and things. But like, I almost felt like a fraud, because I had this secret, and I didn't want anyone to know that I was a filthy pervert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, we grew up in a time where you would never talk about this kind of stuff ever
Right?
to anybody.
Even in Utah?
Even in Utah.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah.
especially in Utah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Literally the first time I experienced like people like younger, like the youth talking about it was when I was facilitating an LDS 12-step group for 16 to 18-year-olds. And that was the first time I actually experienced like younger dudes actually like sharing their struggles with porn and masturbation. I'm like, what? Like, this is freaking awesome. Like, we would never, ever talk to anybody, especially with our peers talking about that to anybody. No way, never.
You talked about it with your bishop, though, didn't you?
Yes,
Or
and I'm
younger?
still very good friends with this bishop. He was the first one I talked to, very shortly, probably after, I don't know if it was within the first year or what, but I remember sitting down with him, and he's the one that gave me the word for what I was doing with myself, masturbation. I didn't know whether there was a word for that. But outside of him, I mean, I didn't talk. It's not like we consulted about it. I just remember he was the one that gave me the word. So we're still good friends to this day.
So Gina, what was growing up for you? What did that look like for you?
Growing up?
Uh-huh.
So my dad was in the Army. And so from about, age 5, our family moved around. We lived overseas. We lived lots of different places in the U.S. and
Germany, Korea.
yes. And I'm the third of 8 kids, so we had a big family.
Yeah.
And my dad was a military chaplain, Army chaplain. I had a really good childhood. I don't know. What else do you want to know?
How did you see God?
How did I what?
Yeah, how did you see God?
See God?
Uh-huh. What was your relationship like with him?
Well, I guess it was kind of a typical LDS, upbringing where both my parents were very devout and active, and I don't remember ever like not going to church or ever even considering not going to church. There was kind of a period of time in my adolescence when I guess it was kind of a rebellious phase, with friends and using bad language, and I never did anything really bad, but
You used bad language? Wait a second.
Heaven forbid.
I got to reconsider what I've done here.
But I do remember like kind of developing my own testimony as a teenager, and realizing that I believed that the church was true. My relationship with God and my testimony of Jesus Christ as my Savior has been a long time in developing. Obviously, it's and in college, I went to BYU. I dated a lot. I struggled a little bit with, I don't want this to be like a confessional or something, but like, I had experiences.
We're unashamed here.
Right.
That's where we're at.
Right.
Unafraid.
Where, I was. So I didn't date in high school, really. Like I started dating when I came to college, and then, started experiencing the physical aspect of dating and stuff like that, and struggled a little bit there, but I went on a mission, and
Where'd you go?
I went to Geneva, Switzerland.
Oh, sweet.
French speaking.
I want to go there and do some hiking. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really beautiful.
And I went to Spain, my mission, Madrid, Spain.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I had a good relationship with my parents. I felt like I could talk to them about pretty much anything, and when they noticed things happening in my life that needed some correction, they weren't really shy, especially my dad, about counseling with me. I never felt like bad, but anyway, I always knew where they stood. And anyway, I don't know. It's just been, I dated a lot. We didn't get married until I was 36. And
I was
so,
30. 30?
Yeah, I think you were.
I was 30.
Yeah, you were 30. So I was single for a long time in the LDS culture, and that was hard. It's really hard. But I had the opportunity to do a lot of things that I normally wouldn't be able to do. I did a lot of traveling. I did graduate school. I started a career. But I also dated a lot, and and struggled with some anxiety around dating, and a lot of fear. It's in the book. You can read that.
It's only her first time saying it, so.
No, there's some of that.
She gets like 5 more times.
Anyway, and especially with regard to pornography, and that was a big fear of mine, where I thought, what if I marry someone and then I find out later that he's addicted to pornography, or he looks at pornography, or he has this like secret he's keeping, and I don't know about it until it's too late, and
what were the discussions like between the two of you surrounding pornography and the sexual area of life prior to getting married?
Well, so
Should I say it? It's in the book. I will tell you
This
here.
is such a
That was
good
your
book.
last time, man.
It's a great book, man. It really is a great book. It's a great story.
So, like I said, I was older when we were dating, and
And I had been married previously for 5.5 years. And so we both had kind of experience in life. We more or less were ready to just kind of cut to the chase
yeah.
when we started dating.
Yeah, and so, Duncan, he's an external processor, and he's really open about things. And so, during our, I don't know, second or third date, we were opening up about different struggles. And I mentioned the struggles that I had with like anxiety and depression, and some of the fears that I had with regard to pornography and that kind of thing. And so that kind of prompted him to just come clean and say, well, I have struggled with pornography for a long time. I don't remember.
So why did you disclose then? Like, why did you say that you had that instead of like hide it and keep it? Be like, I want this chick to love me and not even let her know about what's going on for me.
I wanted her to love the whole me, and I just felt so much, I don't know, I just felt so much like purity in her that inspired and continues to inspire me to be, full disclosure from the very beginning, and I wanted it to last.
So what was it like for you, Jenna? I mean, how did you process that? And I'm interested too as well if that was influenced at all by the way that you were brought up. If there were things that, kind of the sexual scripts that you had gotten from your childhood.
I think by that time, I figured, well, it's inevitable. It's, there's so many people who struggle with it. It's like, at least he's telling me, at least he's open about it,
That had been your experience in dating to that point?
Well, I guess I can't say that had been my experience. Like, I didn't have a bunch of different guys telling me that they, struggled with it.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I thought I was unique. You got all these guys telling you they've been struggling with pornography.
No. I guess
No.
I kind of felt calm about it for some reason. And maybe it's because my fear was just not knowing. And now that I knew, I thought, okay, well.
Well, my guess is you probably saw the man of who he was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You may not like the behavior, but you already knew. You're like, this is just a normal dude. This is like a great guy that I like to be around. And yeah, it turned out that he looks at it and it doesn't change him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
or how I see him.
like I said, it was only our second or third date, so I hadn't.
Yeah, you weren't in love yet.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't know what a great guy he was. I mean, I knew enough that I wanted to keep going out with him, and so, so I think
maybe guys fall in love quicker than girls do. So, that's earlier in the story.
I think I sensed that there was a lot to him. There was a lot more to him than just that, and that I don't know. I just felt like
she's
I
gifted.
could.
To hear her say that is like, that's the beauty and the vision that Gina inspires, is she knows there's more to it than just that. And that keeps me going every day.
Yeah. So you mentioned you were divorced.
Yes.
Did that have anything to do with the addiction? Were you like honest in that marriage, or do you like totally hid things?
It's a good question. So I met my first wife. From the time we met to the time we got married was 5.5 weeks.
Wow.
Weeks. Yeah. Which was okay with me because my parents met and got married within 6 weeks, and they were still married. They're still,
So this was a race. You
was
shaved off 3 or 4 days and thought you were doing pretty well, huh?
I'm the winner, the victor. So the victor goes the spoils, and it was spoily. It was spoily.
So when you guys met, you were married within 4.5 weeks. And you, I don't know how long it took you.
No,
to
it
date,
took
but-
us. It took us longer.
Like 6 months.
Good.
Like 6-7 months.
Sweet.
No, but okay. So there's this very short time frame of getting to know each other before getting married.
Totally.
Right. But I did tell her that I had struggles, or what had struggled in the past, or what, with pornography. And so, whether or not she was able to process that, how mature we both were. She was also older than me, 5.5 years older as well. And
She was from a different country.
from a different country, from the Czech Republic. She's a convert to the church. Her parents are not members. She has one sister who got baptized, but then is no longer active. And we're thousands of miles away from her family and stuff, right? So there's all these things. She subsequently got into an affair with a neighbor. We were both going to BYU, and this is an older couple. They became kind of mentors to us in our ward. They had written a book on sexuality and intimacy in marriage, and we became like fast, tight friends with them. I just didn't know quite how tight,
Right.
Yeah. And it all came out in such a big way. I'll let you read the story to get the details, but in short, because of my struggle with pornography, I took the blame for the downfall of our marriage. For like 2 more years, I stayed with her, trying to reconcile is it me, is it her, is there anything we can do to fix this? And it became pretty clear towards the end that there was nothing I could do to fix this. And so I left and subsequently tried to get a hold of her in the past, in the first, let's say, 10 years of our marriage. We've been married for 18 years now. But for the first number of years, I tried to get a hold of her, to reconcile, to try to admit, whatever part my story played in the downfall of our marriage. And she never wanted to converse about it, reciprocate. So no kids in common, so there's no reason to be in touch. Yeah.
So height of your addiction, man. Where are you at?
Right now?
No, like where? Like what was the height of your addiction?
Oh, the height.
Like, are you acting out like all the time? Is it just like?
Yeah. Gosh, the height of my addiction was before we met, in probably between the time I got divorced and the time because I met her when I was married. I tuned her piano actually in 2004. Didn't get married didn't get divorced until 2006. It's an awesome story, an amazing story. She bought a piano. I was hired to go tune it. I'm like, this is a cute girl who owns her own condo and drives a Lexus. Oh yeah,
Doing something right.
I'm married. So I went back into my hole, and there was no contact until after I was divorced. But yeah, between that time, that's probably the height of my addiction. I lived on my own. It was a transitionary time that was exciting and depressing all at the same time. The internet was pretty much in full force at this point in time. I could carry my laptop in my car and find a hotspot somewhere.
Right.
And but then when she came along, it was like this hope, this light, this love. And through the process of interviewing with my stake president to get married in the temple again, my stake president, confided in me that he had struggled when he was in his early 30s and overcame. He didn't go into detail.
Yeah.
Not nearly as much detail as I would and feel impressed to do so. But it was just that spark of hope that was like, oh my gosh, here's an ecclesiastical authority who is being candid with me. And I'm in my early 30s. I was 30 at the time. And if he can do it, I can do it. So it was like this combined, the love that I felt from her, we were now engaged, and then this hope from my stake president. I'm like, that was the turning point for pornography for me. Masturbation took another few years to overcome. That was the much harder one, another maybe 5 years or something. And, but yeah, that was the height.
So you told her about it, and then you never like acted out after that.
I mean, from the time, before we were married, there was one instance where I never intentionally went seeking out pornography from that time forward. So since, let's say, January 2007 to now, it's a long time. We're coming up on 18, 19 years of sobriety from pornography.
And I remember you and I were pretty close in that, because when I met you at UCAP,
Yeah.
you had talked about that.
Yeah.
And you may have acted out some at the beginning of our dating relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, because we
don't
met.
know for sure,
We
but
went on our first date on Labor Day 2006, and so there was a few months
and then
there.
you met with your stake president the
January.
following January.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So you said it took a couple more years to kick the masturbation.
Yeah.
How did acting out in that realm impact your relationship, if at all?
So I really don't remember you doing that. I mean,
It wasn't
Those
like
are
I would
usually
do
things
it and
people
then
do.
it wasn't like
Well,
I
you
would do
weren't
it and
over
then
that, you
confess.
weren't like, hey, I acted out.
it was never anything we talked about except maybe that one time
That one time
that
we had I call it the dragon's throat. Like staring down the
well,
throat.
that's a different thing.
Oh, the one
He's
time in the
talking about-
shower you're talking about. Well, that was the end of it. And if this is what it takes, it was like this turning point for me where from that point in time forward, I never masturbated. It's been over 14 years.
Wow.
Total sobriety.
Awesome.
I have a little days countdown calculator thing in my spreadsheet.
So one of the things that you guys mentioned about your story is that this was an us thing. This is our story. So tell me about the elements of emotional healing between the two of you, how that has looked in recovery for you. Because I think there's a lot there that we haven't touched on yet.
There's a lot. And there's a lot that's not in the book. I started writing the book like 8 years ago. It's been a long, and it's just published it last year. Just published the audiobook, a few weeks ago. And a lot developed in the past 4 or 5 years. That ended 3 years ago, definitively. It's interesting because I'll just say this: the addiction showed its ugly head in different forms along the way, and we're in business for ourselves. I've been self-employed for a long time, tuning pianos. We were growing our business. I've had secretary for a long time, different secretaries, but we hired one in particular who was very helpful, very, very helpful, and we interacted a lot, mostly over the phone because the work she did was remote, and it turned into what I discovered was an emotional affair. And this is not in the book, and I'll withhold from saying any names. It's a small community, people are still around. And so that wreaked some what would be practically devastating effects on our marriage in such a way that we nearly split 3 years ago. She gave
So did you get caught in it, or did you like, hey, I gotta tell you, like, this is what's going on?
Yeah, tell me, let's hear your perspective on that.
So
Yes.
okay.
In short, yes.
I guess it was more of him getting caught, but because I knew that something had changed. I knew there had been a marked shift in some way. after he returned from a piano tuning convention.
It was a week-long trip that I took.
And I could sense that something was different. And so I knew I had to ask, like, what happened?
Yeah, she said, "What happened?" It was like very...
Just like that.
Just like that. And Gina is a woman of few words, and when she speaks up at all, and with that kind of emotion, it's like, okay, well, I have to tell her everything. So that was the beginning of kind of the revealing of all the conversations and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I think...
So never physical, like never sexual or anything. It was just emotional.
No, there was never any sexual contact, but there was lots of sexual conversation.
Yeah.
Lots. And a lot of that happened after kind of the initial what happened conversation. It was the best way I can describe it is I've never been on drugs or alcohol. I'm not an addict in those ways. But if I had experience with meth, I hear it's an upper, and this was like the best form of meth that wasn't a drug, that wasn't actually a physical drug.
Totally.
Because she said yes to everything, and any way I can help, and in the business and in other ways. And it was like overcoming a meth addiction is the best way I can put it. So there were iterations in this recovery process that lasted months. And I say recovery because it's like my second recovery. It wasn't specifically porn. It wasn't specifically masturbation, but it was a very distinct way that I'll say my addiction transformed and showed up in a powerful way.
Yeah. So having all this talk, like the sexual innuendos to each other, things like that, that never got to the place where you reverted back to masturbation.
No, I had drawn a distinct line. I mean, in my mind, it was like, even from the beginning, it's like, okay, beginning meaning in my early teens, I can't have sex. Sex is crossing the line, but I can have it in my mind all the time. Yeah. And no one knows, except for myself, and that's okay, right? I can't, have sexual intercourse, but I can, have sex with myself, masturbate and experience that climactic event over and over, and that's okay, right? I can't have a conversation about sex without, still maintaining the law of chastity and going to the temple and all that. Well, I've learned a lot about the law of chastity and any impure or unclean thoughts, and so, no, I never fell to masturbation through that whole process or pornography.
What began to change within you, Duncan, as you guys began to tackle this together? Because as I'm listening to you, it sounds like there were choices you made to change behavior, and there were very marked emotional experiences that you had that caused you to make very specific decisions to let go of porn and let go of masturbation at key times. Mm-hmm. But there was still some stuff underneath that triggered you back into action, in an addictive way. Mm-hmm. Just, kind of like whack-a-mole. You keep hitting those moles, but they'll just keep popping up.
Oh, that's what it is. Whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mole. I never knew. Whack-a-mole.
So how did you guys tackle that together? I mean, what
You're
did
an
this look like for
interviewer. I can see you've got some experience in this. This is the stuff, because it's like I could say, yes, I've been clean for, totally clean for 14 years. Well, okay, is that, this one time in Idaho when I was on business, when I was in the shower and I was close to masturbating, but had a conversation with her first, is that crossing the line? Well, I consider it no, because we talked about it. I was close, darn close. Right. But I mean, and that's the real stuff. This is the real. Yeah. And, but I'm like, do I reset my sobriety clock or not? Well, I decided not to. We decided for me not to. Just healthier.
Well, I think there's different types of sobriety. Like I have 3 dates of sobriety, right?
Predates.
Because I have from January of 2008 from Pornography,
January 2007.
April of 2007, or April of 2008 for being with other women, and then December of 2009 from masturbation. So, I mean, I've got 3 different dates.
Yeah.
Because there are different times that I stopped.
Yes.
Different things I stopped.
Yeah, and so like September through December 2022 was kind of our like. Okay, so you asked me what was like the transition point at this most recent. That's how I interpreted your question. At least.
Right. Yeah.
This most recent hiccup, I'll say, and it was when business had gotten really complicated because we were rebuilding pianos and managing employees there. We had bought a business up in Idaho, and this was new to us, and so we were managing that all now without -1 staff member who was very effective at the work that she did. And I was tempted to hire her back. I'm like, just to help us get through this transition time, train a new secretary, whatever. And Gina finally she said to me, you can either hire her back or you can stay married to me. But you can't have it both ways. I'm paraphrasing, but that's right.
Awesome.
Yeah, and there were lots of ups and downs that led up to that point where I knew I felt strongly that that's what I needed to say. Because we did try in the beginning to keep her on and set some ground rules, and
I broke the ground rules. I found gray area everywhere.
Right.
Even just 3 years ago. I mean, it's like I think how stupid do I have to be to get the lessons? How thick is my skull to understand that I'm still imperfect and still struggling with things. But it took, and Gina knew it would take what she said to turn me around for once and for all in that way. And then there have been financial things that we've had to overcome and turn around that we're still overcoming the effects of and things. But those aren't like eternal marital issues. They're more refinements, fine tunings.
Right.
But these big boulders that we had to get out of the way and blast. We had to blast these boulders out of our way, and she knew how to blast them. I need Jenna.
So tell us about blasting the boulders. What was it like to heal in those moments with your wife?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of rubble after a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cleanup. But the boulder was then broken down. We could kind of see the components of it where we started. Well, there was a friend in our current ward who was going through some similar stuff, and she referred Jenna to a podcast by Dr. Jennifer Finlayson 5.
Love her. We've had her twice on our podcast.
Have you?
Yeah, she's awesome.
And because of that podcast, we learned the term emotional affair, thanks to Dr. Finlayson 5.
Yeah.
Actually, it was an article, an Insight article.
Oh yes, that's what it was.
Article. I think it was Insight at the time, but
It was a digital copy
Yeah.
of this article.
and I can't remember the name of the person who wrote that article. She is also a therapist or psychologist, local, and so reading that article, and it dealt with the internet and technology and emotional affairs and that kind of thing, or infidelity, emotional.
Yeah,
Anyway.
technology and emotional infidelity or something along those lines.
And so I sought out this therapist because I thought we should go to counseling, and so we actually went to her office. We didn't see her personally. We saw a different counselor, but but the same counseling office. And so we saw a counselor for a couple months.
A couple months, yeah. And she was really good. This counselor was perfect for us. It was through her that we learned the terms. My biggest takeaway was I'm an external processor.
And are you guys shouting out her name? Because
Well,
I don't remember her name. Well,
Emily something.
it's
I
Emily.
can't even remember.
Emily, shout out to you for being an
thank
awesome
you.
therapist.
You're an amazing. You know what? I think she was moving.
Yeah, she.
Was having a baby.
Yeah, I don't know if she's still practicing.
Yeah.
But I think
There might have been a
I think she
professional
probably
change there.
is, but she's up in Layton or North Salt Lake or something like that now. But
Emily, look up Emily, the therapist. She's amazing.
There probably is just
Sorry,
maybe
I-
one or two here in Utah.
There's probably only one. There's only one to us.
Gravy.
Gosh,
Right.
ask
I
Jennifer
don't know.
Finlayson Fife, who this Emily's blonde hair, just like stellar.
yeah. And I wish I could remember the name of the doctor who wrote the article.
Oh,
I should have come prepared. But,
I know.
I think I'm curious to know what were because you mentioned like this blast. I love that imagery, and there was all this rubble, these emotional components that got revealed, and so I'm curious. I think this may, just in terms of recovering and helping other people kind of have a look into what you guys experienced together and what it looks like to recover. Either with this therapist or between the two of you, I mean, how did you guys, what were those emotional components that were underneath a lot of this sexual behavior over decades, Duncan? And how did you guys work that out together, either with the therapist or between the two of you?
Well, a lot of the subsequent working out, clearing out the rubble, was between the two of us. And without going into too much detail, I had to overcome my fear of discussing specific sexual things with my wife, desires that I had been afraid of talking about with her. And
So there was a lot of sexual shame that was kind of popping up in funny ways that you had never addressed.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And I had to learn to be more of an external processor, and to trust that Duncan loves me. So going back a ways, when was it that you met Ben?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if I should
He's in the
mention
book.
names,
Well, he's
but-
in the book
oh,
as
yeah.
Big Ben.
He's in the-
Big Ben.
Okay. Yeah, so around 2011,
His real name is
2012, you were introduced to the 12-step program?
Yeah, and I joined as a missionary. My first introduction was as a missionary because I had a little bit of sobriety, more than a year or two
Right.
at that time, and I was assigned a companion as a missionary, and his name is Ben. I call him Big Ben. He was physically big, but also hugely, massively impactful in my recovery. He subsequently became my step 5 guy, I call him, in the program. Step 4 is your moral written inventory. Step 5 is you share it with certain people. And he was my step 5 guy. And he made himself available all the time for me for years.
Yeah, he became your mentor, and
Yeah.
and there would be times when Duncan would be struggling with lustful thoughts, I don't know, different things like that, where he in order to get through it, he needed to talk about it.
I'm an external processor.
And so so you would talk about it with me sometimes. You would, just to get it off of your chest, off your mind. And
Not with the spirit of comparing, okay, a girl in black, skinny clothes running, whatever, and my brain's all going crazy. I need to share it outwardly to get through it. But Ben, it became apparent, and Ben told me in no uncertain terms, he said, don't talk with Jenna about this stuff. share it
I
with
would
me.
always kind of take it personally.
Yeah.
I would think, well, I guess I'm not very attractive, or you know, he wants to be with someone else. He would rather have someone like that, you know, and
Right.
I would internalize it and kind of close off emotionally, and
Which I then interpreted as she doesn't want to communicate with me. Maybe she doesn't love me all that much, or it's too hard to communicate with her. You know, a little bit like my mom, who's a little bit, you know, on the cold, kind of hard to communicate side.
and so then the message he got from Ben was, no, you talk to me about that stuff. Don't talk to her about it. You know, it's hurtful or whatever. And
Well, it's
so,
hard to heal a marriage when you're hearing all these things.
Yeah. And so he would talk to Ben, and he would get through it and be fine. And that went on for a number of years. And then there was kind of a period of time where, you know, he would need to less and less. He would need to call Ben less and less. And
Can I just share this?
Yeah.
There was a point in time where Ben said, there will come a point in time, he told me this, when you won't have to call me. We might not talk for weeks, months, or maybe even years. And I distinctly remember thinking, and even telling him, there's no way in hell I'm not going to have to call you for an extended period of time, let alone years.
Right.
Well, I haven't had to call him for recovery purposes for many years. So that, I'll say, prophecy is now my reality.
Yeah.
so
So
I think
there's-
there was a period of time where it cropped back up, or you did need to talk about certain things, and you felt like I was not, you know, that was taboo. I can't talk to Jenna about it because she's going to take it personally, and I don't want to hurt her, and you know, and you had developed such an emotionally kind of intimate relationship with your assistant that eventually you started talking to her about these kinds of things.
And this is kind of years after Ben. I didn't need contact with Ben anymore. So just think about this for the audience, right?
That's why I was like, this is like 2011, 2012, and he had the affair like 3 years ago. Like,
Exactly.
got it. Okay.
Right. So
I'm glad you're clearing that up.
Yeah. And I hadn't been in touch with Ben for like recovery stuff. And I didn't really want to talk to him about what I was talking with my assistant about.
Yeah.
And I knew that he hadn't been in contact with Ben, so I was under the impression that
Everything's good.
everything's good, you know. And so it kind of came as a shock to me when I learned that, you know, he needed, quote unquote, needed to talk to someone about sex, I guess, that he didn't feel comfortable talking to me about. And
she was very open to talking about it. It was like healing to me, but at the same time, so emotionally bonding between me and this assistant of mine that it just developed into, I mean, it would have been a short time, I think, before it actually turned into physical stuff. And it scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like what I'm hearing you say, Duncan and Gina. It feels like over a period of time there were just so many things emotionally that were going on inside of you that you weren't able to make known. Your internal world was very private to other people. There was a lot of suffering in that, and it kept popping out in undesirable ways. Even well after you kicked masturbation and pornography, there was this thing inside of you that you hadn't quite been able to name and share with other people, particularly Gina. And it sounds like you're finally at a place where some of those things have been made known, and you're healing in that process, which is what I love. In the interest of time, because we do need to wrap this up, what would you guys say, each of you, for 30 seconds, just as a final, wrap this up with a bow about what you've learned and what you've experienced together in recovery?
Can I go first?
Sure. I don't know if we want to end on me, but go ahead.
Save the best for last. It's as scary as it is to open up to your spouse. it's scarier not to, and to see the results
Love
that happen.
Wow.
Way scarier.
I would agree with that statement, totally.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, that was pretty short, huh?
Wow.
She's like, what? She's like, wow, you did that quick.
That was like 10 seconds, yes.
Stop that.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I guess just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to have messy conversations.
Yeah, the hard conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, messy.
Yeah. You know, like Duncan said, it's better just to get it out there and just trust. I don't know. Trust that you can work it out.
I mean, if you're a team, which we are, then that bond will outlast any messiness. The mess is just kind of on the table.
As long as you're both in.
As long as we're both in, yes. Yeah. And we are both in.
Yeah, and I knew that I had some like introspection to do as well, like just with this recent
episode
explosion. You know, I was willing to look at how I contributed or what I could do better. And so, you know, I don't put all the blame on Duncan.
I mean, what more can I say? That's golden right there.
Well,
That's what makes or breaks eternity. Is she's willing to look at her stuff, I'm willing to look at my stuff, and in that spirit we can come together. She's amazing.
It's working together, you know, and being willing to acknowledge your own part.
Love it.
Amen.
Awesome.
Duncan, you have a song that symbolizes recovery for you, recovery for the two of you. And this is an original song?
An original song.
This is our first original song, so we're so excited.
There you go. I am a musician.
This is so sick.
I'm a piano tuner, and it's called Creation, and I wrote it probably 12 years ago or something.
You composed it, probably 12 or 13 years ago.
Yeah, it came to me. I was tuning a piano in a BYU practice room. I had a contract with them for a short time, and this song just kind of came out. I'm like, wow, that's really beautiful. So I recorded it on my iPhone or whatever at the time, and then I refined it and professionally recorded it later. It's on Spotify now. It's called Creation. You can look it up. Creation by Duncan Peterson. Creation's a bland name, but if you combine Duncan Peterson with that, you'll find it. And it's just a piano solo, no lyrics. Although, if any one of you is a lyricist and can envision lyrics, let me know, and we can collab about it. But it really symbolizes the creation of this broken down man into a new. Maybe I'll end with this. I met my first wife at what is now the Provo City Center Temple, when it was the Provo Tabernacle. That building burned to the ground, and then it was built up years later to become a temple. My life has burned to the ground nearly multiple times, and our life is being built up to be a temple. And this song, Creation, really speaks that in musical terms.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching Unashamed, Unafraid. You can find us on social media at Unashamed, Unafraid. Get access to our bonus content by becoming an outsider on our website, unashamedunafraid.com. If this was helpful, take some time and share this with a friend or a loved one who's in recovery or could use the message that we share. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, continue to live unashamed. Here is Creation by Duncan Peterson.
Yeah.